Hi Eastern Oregon, this is Alex McCadden, your EOAlive News Director with a preview of Fall 2022 ballot measures. We start off with Measure 11. Measure 11 is an amendment to the state constitution proposed by the legislature. The text of this amendment is to, quote, ensure that every resident of Oregon has access to cost-effective, clinically appropriate, and affordable health care as a fundamental right, unquote. Legislative intent when examining a bill matters. The effect of this bill will ultimately result in the state being required to provide health care to all residents who are unable to procure it for themselves. How this is implemented and funded remains to be seen, whether through an expansion of Medicaid for individuals who do not have health care or the creation of a single-payer system in which all Oregonians are enrolled. Measure 112 is another state constitutional amendment proposed by the legislature. When the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution was passed in 1865, the nationwide ban on slavery contained an exemption for involuntary servitude as punishment for crimes. Measure 112 aims to ban slavery as a criminal punishment in Oregon at the state level. The impacts on current inmate work programs will need to be clarified by the legislature if this state constitution amendment passes. The state constitution currently requires inmate work rehabilitation programs, and many inmates participate in the workforce at wage rates lower than minimum wage, along with receiving housing, meals, and health care. Voters should carefully weigh the lack of a public legislative plan for implementation as they consider voting on this measure. Measure 113 is a voter-initiated constitutional amendment that would ban any sitting lawmaker from ever running for the legislature again if they have more than 10 unexcused absences. Democrats and Republicans have both utilized legislative walkouts in the last 20 years to prevent the passage of legislation that their respective caucuses oppose. While the Constitution was written without the intent of utilizing unexcused absences in this manner, it has become the only guaranteed tool available to legislatures in the minority party to prevent the passage of legislation that lawmakers find harmful to their constituents. Given the historical use of unexcused absences to safeguard against extreme partisanship in the legislature, voters should consider where their representatives should continue to have access to this tool to represent their interests. Measure 114 is a voter-initiated state law that would enact several new firearms restrictions. Upon passage, all Oregonians would be prohibited from purchasing firearms without a permit issued by local law enforcement. Local law enforcement could only issue the permit after receiving a photo ID and fingerprints, conducting criminal background checks, and providing safety training all at the cost of the applicants. New prohibitions would be enacted on magazine capacity. Manufacturing, importing, purchasing, selling, possessing, using, or transferring magazines over 10 rounds would be a Class A misdemeanor. For the first 180 days after passage, firearms dealers may purchase and then sell magazines larger than 10 rounds out of state, which would assist Oregonians attempting to eliminate illegal magazines. After the 180 days, Oregonians will have no legal method of disposing these magazines that does not incur thousands of dollars or fines and jail time. Now, on to local ballot measures. In 2020, Oregon voters legalized the use of psilocybin in supervised therapy. In 2021, the legislature voted to allow cities and counties to refer bans on psilocybin production and service centers to voters. Residents of Cove, Island City, LeGrand, North Powder, and Union will vote on ballot measures referred by their respective city councils to ban psilocybin producers and service operators within their city limits. Union County residents will also vote on a measure referred by commissioners to ban production of service centers in unincorporated areas. The Elgin City Council referred 3 additional ballot measures to their voters. Measure 3108 is a proposed amendment to the Elgin City Charter to allow council candidates to file by paying a $50 fee in lieu of collecting 20 signatures. The Jewel of the Blue Mountains is one of only a few cities in Oregon with an elected administrator and recorder. Measure 3106 makes the position appointed by the City Council, and Measure 3107 changes the title to just City Administrator. City managers are almost always appointed due to a lack of community residents who possess the skills and experience to manage a municipal government. No candidate filed to run for Elgin City Administrator this year. Elgin voters should weigh in on whether they wish to continue selecting the city manager from amongst their neighbors, or if they wish to provide the council with flexibility to expand the talent pool available to manage city services. Thanks for watching this EOAlive explanation of Fall 2022 statewide ballot measures.